Hello YouTube, it's Saturday evening, June 10th, 2023, 5:16 p.m. and I'm finally heading out of my place. I've been kind of hiding in my bed since I woke up, and I'm not really sure what time I woke up. Hey, look, it's Shithead. How you doing, Shithead? How are you? I see you looking at me. What's up? That's one of the funnier stray cats. Used to live in my apartment for a while, then decided I'd rather be outside. So I'm not one to hold a cat hostage. Anyway, gosh, where was I? Just turned the corner and there's cat just looking right back at me. Yeah, I'm not sure what time I got up today. I did go to sleep shortly after my last video ended, and yeah, it got cut off due to the Obamaphone 4 running out of space. And I thought about using what little bit of battery power I had left on my iPhone to kind of finish where I left off, and I was just like, what's the point? Nobody, including myself, wants to listen to that crap, and it's just, it just felt like it was kind of talking in circles anyway. I mean, I guess I was going to go into a little more detail as to what led up to the argument that Priscilla and I had behind, like right after the bar closed, behind Wander Inn. Nice truck. Sorry about your penis. Yeah, the argument. Well, there's another one. I like that my daughter calls them compensation mobiles. Oh my goodness, it's warm out today. So, I was going to go into a little more detail as to why we were, what led up to the argument behind the bar at the time the bar closed that had me so frustrated that I just took off walking. But I don't know, by the time I'd done that much walking and nearly ran the iPhone out of battery and completely ran Obamaphone 4 out of space, I just wasn't even feeling it anymore. Anyway, the time I went and got home, I'm not sure what time it was. I just ended up falling asleep. And I would say it's probably close to 5 a.m., which again, has me off my new work schedule that I hate. Because that's 5 a.m. That's not a wake up and go to work time for me. That's when it's time to go to sleep. That's just how my body is wired. That's my natural rhythm. And of course, I don't know what time I woke up. Probably early afternoon, I guess. I don't recall. Been just kind of making around on my phone, reviewing some of my videos and adding. I can smell the burning fentanyl. Lovely. Yeah, reviewing some of my videos and adding to the descriptions some information, and deleting some of those files to make more space, although probably not as many as I really should have. I did wake up to a text message, an unexpected text message from Rob, telling me that the car was done and the keys were stashed waiting for me. So, and usually if he says it like that, that means he's already decided to go in for the day. So, bummed that I missed him. I didn't get to talk to him, but optimistic that when I get over to his shop that I will once again have my car, because life is considerably better when I have my car. Of course, it still doesn't get me to my car. I've still got to get there. I'm headed to the bus I was thinking about taking the 44, because I can't get directly to Rob's on a single bus. I have to take, even though it's largely going straight south on a single street, the Route 44 doesn't go south of Washington, so I have to take the Route 44 to Washington Street and then transfer to the Route 32 to continue traveling south on 44th Street, because our bus system is stupid like that. I was considering, rather than doing that transfer, because that's often time consuming and annoying, especially on a reduced Saturday schedule. On Saturday and Sunday we have schedules that are not as it's less service than what we have on the weekdays, which is shitty because our weekday schedules are already woefully inadequate. But you walking with a guitar case, that's cool. Anyway, dog sounding. So anyway, as I mentioned, I think at some point I mentioned yesterday that Obamaphone 3 is ready. I just need to get down there and pick it up. He closed early yesterday because he said there was a fire that caused him to have no electric power, and he's on the way out the door when I called him. And I made the mistake of getting on a Route 32 instead of a Route 30 because he was willing to wait 30 minutes for me. And had I gone on a Route 30, I probably could have made it to his store within 30 minutes from Rob's shop. But once I was on the 32, I was already headed this way versus deeper, headed into Tempe. I'm just like, no, I'm not going to be able to make it. I got on the wrong bus. Just I'll call you when I'm headed down at a later point and work it out later. But he said that he had called me. I don't know. Maybe he did. I a lot of times don't. I miss phone calls. I don't answer phone calls, especially if it's from a number I don't recognize. And I don't even know how to check my voicemail. So of course, if he called and left a voicemail message, no, I didn't get that. And I'm pretty sure I told him to email me when it is finished, or to text me when it is finished. One of those two things, because I would have not missed those messages. Well, yeah, if he called me to let me know the phone was finished, of course I didn't. Of course I didn't get that. But yeah, at first he's like, "Oh, I finished that. Didn't you already pick it up?" No, I didn't pick it up. I better not have given it to somebody else. I'll be seeing him in small claim courts if he did, because I've still got a receipt where I already prepaid for that work. So yeah. Anyway, I was thinking, earlier when I was still working on my videos and stuff and listening to my new record I just got delivered from Walmart.com, Hot Fuss by The Killers, their debut album, which is really, really good. Yeah, it popped up a week or so ago on our vinyl deals on Reddit for like $18, which isn't super cheap, but that's struck me as a really good deal for an album that I know I love from beginning to ending that much. And now the funny thing with the Walmart.com is they do free shipping, but it has to be on orders of $30 or more. So it's like, okay, I had to come up with another like $12 worth of stuff, which is not easy or not difficult to do on Walmart. There's so many other things I need from Walmart that are not records. Just basic staples of life type stuff, and if I have it delivered, that saves me the hassle of actually going to Walmart, which is rarely a pleasant experience. So I actually ordered a case of the ramen in the cup, like instant lunch. I figured that'd be a good thing to have to bring to work, that I don't have to worry about keeping refrigerated if it's going to be a while between when I leave out and when I'm actually arriving at work. So definitely a good thing to have. So I'm going to probably keep some of it in my locker as well. But the funny thing is, like, that you would think the basis of free shipping on Walmart.com would would be based on, you know, you put more things together in a single package, it costs less to ship them. But both of those items were shipped separate. So yeah, to just ship or if I just ordered the record, like I would have had to pay something like $6 for shipping, I think, or $6 and change, which substantially raises the price of the record. But the record still shipped separately. I got the ramen yesterday, and the record showed up this morning. So, I don't know, make it make sense. Anyway, the good news is I got my favorite album from the Killers on vinyl now. And you know, I don't even think I have that currently on CD. Now, I've owned it on CD in the past, and I'm sure I have a good quality MP3 book of it on my DJ computer. But yeah, I don't think I had a physical copy of it. So pretty stoked to have a nice, and it's thicker vinyl, like the 180 gram vinyl. Not that that makes any difference to the sound quality. That's sort of a myth. But you know, it feels good putting a thicker piece of wax on the turntable, and it sounded great. Listen to the first side. But yeah, I ended up staying in bed longer than I intended to. Also woke up to a whole bunch more text messages from Priscilla with the threat of, well, you better not start ignoring me again. Yeah, right. Like, basically, that last flood of text messages, which I intend to read to y'all later, are just a load of reasons why I should be ignoring her. I mean, I kind of get her position, but all her position does is further reinforce why I don't want to deal with her. And to kind of put it in a nutshell, did she promise me that she would let me drive her vehicle to work this morning? I'm supposed to go into work this morning, or I had the option to go into work this morning at 4 a.m. So actually work a longer shift, actually get some overtime in my next paycheck. And yeah, I mean, she knows that I need the money. She knows I'm hurting financially, and I'm swimming in debt and need to make more money so I can put more towards that debt. She knows this. So when she texts back, she's like, well, I didn't think I thought you said you could work, but you didn't have to work. It's a fucking difference. I need the money. If I can work, then obviously I want to work. Don't create a situation where I can't, when you know my only chance of getting there is you letting me use your vehicle. You know this. Don't pretend like you don't. Did she actually promise me and say that she would let me? I don't think she did. It was definitely implied, though, in the event I wasn't able to get my car back and running before, you know, the middle of the night. I mean, I would have to, at the latest, leave at 3 a.m. And it's not like Rob is a overnight working in the shop kind of Mr. Tweakmeyer sort of person. Although I do miss having those kinds of mechanics that are up all night wrenching because they just don't sleep. Those were generally the kind of mechanics that I sought out and had when I had my taxi company back in the day, and for the most part, it worked out pretty good for me. Because you know, the cab business runs 24/7, and I need my mechanics to be on that schedule as much as possible as well. So anyway, she's like, well, I didn't promise that. Okay, well, that's fine, but the kind of shit that she was asking was just absurd. You know, well, how can you take the light rail to get there? I can't take the light rail to get there. Do you not understand where I work at? Like, I've said the cross streets to you several times. I've told you it's on the backside of Luke Air Force Base. Are you seriously that clueless to the layout of the Phoenix area that you don't know where Luke Air Force is relative to where the light rail goes? Or have you had so much vehicular privilege for so long that you don't know where the light rail actually goes and what services offers? There is no point that I can take the light rail where it becomes feasible to take rideshare from anywhere on the light rail to where my warehouse is. There's no such place. And I've told her that more than once. So she keeps asking the question and telling me I'm not letting her finish your question. No, you finished your question 3 times. I've answered it 3 times. You're not fucking listening and not accepting the answer. And that seems to be a female thing. I've noticed a lot of women just don't seem to, if they ask a question and they don't get the answer that they want, they just ask the question again. Bitch, I've answered your question. You need to accept the answer. There is only one bus route that gets me anywhere near that warehouse. It doesn't get me till 8:08 a.m. That is too late for me to show up. I'm not going to end up, by then, I'm so late, I'm not going to be able to work enough hours to make it worth my while. And no, the light rail doesn't go anywhere near there. But can't you blah, 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 the light rail? No, the light rail doesn't go anywhere. But no, you're not listening to my question. Where can you take the light rail to where you can take rideshare? Nowhere. The answer is fucking no. Look at a map. I don't know. And I think that's why maps have sort of become a thing of the past, and every woman I know uses some kind of a GPS software to tell them where to turn and give them directions, because by and large, I've never met a woman that can read a map with any comprehension. And clearly Priscilla comes into that category, because if she'd look at a map of the valley and seen where on that map the furniture warehouse is that I work at, and where on that map the light rail goes, she would realize what an absurd question she was asking. And at one point I broke it down to where I pointed in complete, I pointed in a general north, slightly to the west direction. I'm like, light rail goes there. And then I pointed in a straight western direction. Where I'm trying to go is there. That doesn't make no sense. What you're asking is not a feasible thing. It doesn't make any sense. You're asking, and I even told that in the text that I sent her after I finally got home in the wee hours of the morning, late last night, early this morning, 4 a.m.-ish, that her repeating the question, all it did was further show her ignorance on the subject. But anyway, so she's like, well, it seems to me like you're mostly just mad because you expected that I was going to do something for you that I never said I would do, and like it's fine for me to let you use my car in the weekday because I don't have anything that I'm doing, but I have things that I do on the weekend, and she lists the things. It's all just typical errand bullshit, go get groceries, go do laundry, blah, 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 blah. Absolutely nothing that she could not have done after I got back from work at roughly 2:30 in the afternoon and would have been definitely very ready to go to sleep. Not a single one of those things could she have not waited until then to do. So, is she being selfish and stingy and depriving me the chance to make $140 or whatever I would have made on that shift? Oh yes, 100%. Is she obligated to let me use that vehicle? No. Am I obligated to want to spend my time with the person who cares so little about me and so much about running errands that they just can't wait for that them doing laundry and running those errands before 2:30 p.m. is so important that they would like to see me lose out on that much income. If she cares that little about me, I ain't got time for it. I don't need it. So anyway, without reading all the text messages, that was pretty much the gist of it, and then just the conversation that we had in text this morning. All right, I think this is my bus coming here. So, oh wow, I got someone with a scooter. Cool. So I will continue this probably after I get my car. And I just stepped off that Route 32. Still Saturday evening, 5:52 p.m. Made pretty good time down here, all things considered. It was a bit of a wait for the 44 as per always, but hey, at least I got some stuff off my chest, and onto on a video. That's the important thing, right? Bus transfer to the 32 to continue going southbound on 44th Street worked out surprisingly well. I hardly had to wait at all, And ironically, that was due to the fact that 32 that I just got off of was running late. Had it been running on time, I'd have been stuck there waiting about 30 minutes. So it's funny. Hi, how you doing? What? Okay. Rednecks are adorable. So, yeah. I thought it might be a cowbell. I'm kind of excited over just some plastic garbage. Anyway. Yeah, the buses as scheduled would have actually resulted in me sitting there for nearly 30 minutes in the heat. But I kind of lucked out. Bus that I would have, for scheduling, as in other words, as it's planned, I would have intentionally missed. Like, they schedule that in such a way that if you're trying to just go down the street, that you can just drive down without stopping. That, yeah, it's baked in, it's planned. A nice long delay. It's yeah, lucked out. The bus was running late, so I got here quickly. Anyway, I got to go grab my key and get back in my car. Oh God, I missed my car, and it hasn't even really been that long. I missed my car, and yeah, I gotta do the math. I missed out on the potential for working 9 hours today, so I gotta do the math to figure out just how much money not having that car cost me today, and Priscilla not caring enough about me to want to help me out with that cost me. And if she asks me about paying her back the gas that I used yesterday, I'm just going to have to remind her that, yeah, that was going to come out of the X dollars that I was going to earn Saturday that I didn't earn, so now I don't have it. Sorry, you did it to yourself. All right, I'm back in the car, and I'm probably setting myself up for an overheating iPhone because it's hot as hell in here. Because I don't know what just doesn't occur to Rob to put the sunshade, which was actually sitting in the passenger seat, in the windshield, so it's not an oven when I get in here. But hey, as long as it starts, I'm good. So it would have been nice for it to not be so hot since he didn't leave it in the covered parking. All right, so 5:56 p.m. Is the air on? Is the air working? Appears to be. Woo! Is it back into the wall? I remember the day that big blue Cadillac came in, and that was a long time ago. It amazes me he hasn't got that project just turned around and done. That seems like a fun project. Of course, I don't know what the situation is with the owner of the ginormous Cadillac and what their budget is and what stuff. I mean, hey, let's face it, he's had my red CRX now for the better part of a decade. Although we have been talking about him finishing my silver CRX. Yeah, him and I were talking about the fact that Priscilla had helped me out with let me drive her vehicle to work on Friday. Actually, as I was driving her vehicle back, I was talking to him on the phone. It's like, yeah, driving her vehicle should be right. And she's like, oh, you finally back with her, and I'm like, yeah, she finally decided to give it up. And then he asked if she's finally given some head. I'm like, no, she's still not willing to do that. And I forget where all that conversation went, but it was just kind of like, oh, and it's like, yeah, no, she won't even let me go down on her. And I told him the weak sauce reason that she gave for that. Yeah, and he's just like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. He said that she wonders why I'm not, why I'm out looking for somebody else, And he's like, man, I said, he goes, yeah, well, she probably just thinks that you're out scoring all the time. I said, yeah, that's what it was like when I met her. So that's what it was like when I was in my 30s, late 30s, early 40s. I said, but that was before I got, before I started going bald and turning gray and losing teeth. He said it's just not as easy for me to just randomly pick up women now as it was back then. He said, and then let's not forget that Saturn is not equipped with a pussy magnet whatsoever, which of course got a good laugh out of him.
I feel like the term pussy magnet is not used enough as a feature of cars anymore. Like that used to be such a common term back in the 80s and 90s. I think the last time I've heard somebody other than myself use the term pussy magnet in reference to a car. In fact, I remember the first time I used that term with Kia, whom I've completely lost touch with. Like the last time I really spent any time talking with her was when the auger caught fire at Amazon. And I saw her maybe the day after that, or maybe it was the day after that in the break room, just in passing and said hi, didn't have a conversation with her, and you never saw her again. And I'll be honest, like I was really digging her, really clicking with her. And last I heard, she's living in the Cass Women's Shelter, which kind of makes me want to go like hang out by there and see if I can find her. But I don't know if I'm up for that level of stalking. Or somebody was probably putting me in the friend zone on the basis of age, solely on the basis of age. But yeah, I remember the first time I used the term pussy magnet, she just looked so appalled and offended by it. And I'm thinking, and I'm doing the math on like her age versus my age, and I'm thinking, God, she's probably never, ever heard that term before. That probably fell out of vogue before she was even, if not before she was born, probably before she was in kindergarten. I remember there was something we were talking about, something musical that we were talking about that I really dig. And Kendrick Lamar. We were talking about Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, and how I've got 2 pressings of it on vinyl, and they just released another one with a different cover art, 10th anniversary edition. I'm like, man, said that 10th anniversary just seems like that just came out. And she's like, oh, I don't know, it's been a while. That was back in junior high. And I'm like, or she goes, that's like back in high school. And I'm thinking, I'm like doing the math real quick, and I'm like, oh damn, yeah, you would have probably been like a freshman or sophomore when that came out. Oh yeah, so many reality checks that I'm fucking old. Of course, no greater reality checks than realizing that most of my favorite artists are dead, and so many of my favorite movie stars are dead, and so many friends that, when I don't hear back from them and lost touch with them, and then I try to figure out where they're at, I find an obituary and find out, oh yeah, I haven't heard from them because they're dead. Oh, did I mention the security guard that I generally worked with over at Bullock's Cocktails, that I used to get along fabulous with and always kind of had my back when there were issues there? Yeah, he's now dead as well. So. Oh, and when will it be my turn? I don't know. Nobody really knows that. And on that note, some of the stars that I grew up with that I really love, it's almost kind of awkward that they're not dead. I mean, I don't know if I'm up for watching the new, what do you call it, the new Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, because Harrison Ford is 80 years old. Like I'm just, Indiana Jones at 80 years old shouldn't be out doing adventures. He should be doing something comparable to the opening scene and the ending scene from The Green Mile. He should be charming old but charming widows in the retirement home with tales of his glory days. That's what he should be doing. So I don't know. I'll probably end up watching that movie eventually, just because it is what it is. But yeah, Harrison Ford, 80 years old. So there's some other actor doing a major. Well, I guess last summer we had the reboot of Top Gun. I didn't bother to see that either because Jesus Christ, how old is Tom Cruise now? Certainly not the right age to be flying a fighter jet. Very attractive women on electric scooters. Wow, that one's practically got her ass hanging out. Very nice. Wow. Oh, I got a green arrow. Spending more time looking looking at the traffic signals and less time evaluating how much of her cheeks hang below the cutoff part of her cutoffs. Oh, well, hey, the iPhone hasn't overheated, and that's a good thing. And I've kind of stopped the practice of aiming the air fan at it, because that just seems to create so much noise in the video that it's counterproductive. But I do have it aiming a little bit below it, so hopefully that's closing the ambient air. God, this traffic light messes with me every time. And I have that red left arrow directly above the straight through lane that doesn't stop. Like, you think it'd be common sense to when you're placing a traffic light on a pole above a lane, that when it's directly above a lane, that it be the traffic light that corresponds to what traffic in that lane does. Because that last light I went through is extremely counterintuitive. All right, I got 3 bottles of Mountain Dew in here. I could have sworn I had more Mountain Dew in here than that. Why are you dinging? No idea. Somebody just tooted behind me. I did not see the light change, but I did notice briefly as I looked to the right that the guy next to me was looking straight down and not looking forward either. I guess we're all inattentive drivers. I was trying to address my thirst and the fact that I thought I had more Mountain Dew in here. Not that I'm gonna drink that, because oh yeah, it's not even warm. It's just straight up hot. Probably stop at Circle K. I need me a sip and save drink. I don't think I've done that for the last 3 days. I do believe I've got my money's worth out of the subscription this month, but still nowhere near what I should have got. Although I can try that trick. That trick of using the self-pay kiosk and pretending not to notice that very hard to notice last button that should be completely unnecessary. And get more than one today. In fact, I think that sounds like a good agenda for today. See how many sip and save drinks I can get before midnight. Call it my Circle K sip and save challenge. Hey, and if anybody else wants to do my Circle K sip and save challenge, post your videos and I'll link to them and mention them in my videos, and we can all see how many free drinks we can get in one day from Circle K. So I'm on my way to AZ's cell phones. I have not called him to see if he's there. I really don't know. I think 6 p.m. on a Saturday is kind of asking a lot, but I'm just glad to be in my car. It feels good with the air conditioning blowing cold. The temperature gauge is actually lower than normal right now, so apparently he did look at whatever was going on with the heating system and got on that. And yeah, everything seems to be good. He didn't text me back to tell me anything about the condition of my battery, which I was hoping he would test and do for me. It's fully under warranty. It's an Interstate battery that I bought in 2020 from Costco. But the first guy that came out on Friday, so yesterday, early Friday morning, God, it feels like it was 2 days ago. The first guy that came out early Friday morning at around 5 a.m. to jumpstart me, he had said that he looked closely at the warranty tag. He's like, he purchased it in 2020. Because generally speaking, the life expectancy of a battery here in Phoenix is 2 to 3 years tops. But how much of that time period was this car just sitting, not running whatsoever? And does that have an effect on the longevity of the battery life? I really don't know. I mean, it would seem like that might extend it some by it not being used, but I genuinely don't know. Boy, those are so weird. Those some kind of public art there on the left. That's so weird looking. Not sure what the hell that stuff's supposed to be. There's the Tempe streetcar sitting camped at the end of its line. That Tempe streetcar line is so short and runs so infrequently and has such inconveniently placed stops so as to be almost completely useless. And it seems like every time I'm in an area where it might, well, the Chicano Lodge is closed, or Chicano Lodge, I mean, it's closed, it's all fenced up. Anytime I'm in a place where it might make sense it might make sense to take the Tempe streetcar after I compare it with other bus routes that are going to the exact same destination, or how long it would be to just simply walk to where I'm going. I end up either using a bus, most of the time one of the free orbit buses, or I just end up walking. That Tempe streetcar is so borderline useless. All right, it's the King Center, 1400 South McClintock. I see some vehicles parked in front of here. Yeah, no, he's open. He's open. I'm gonna go get Obamaphone 3 back. Nice. Used to be a bar directly opposite this the cell phone store here. Right there, that was called Chasers. You can see that empty sign. And Chasers have been closed for a long time, but man, back when I lived in Tempe, that was one of my favorite neighborhood dive bars. And while I never did end up posting there, my good friend Alex hosted there for a long time. God, I missed that spot. And I'm back. Car is dinging, being annoying, because that's what it does. 6:17 p.m. and oh, there it is. I was like, had that weird moment where I didn't realize where Obamaphone 4 was. Because as wretched as it is, it's still a device that I use, and it's got quite a bit of video on it that I haven't got posted up on YouTube yet, that I hope not to lose, including some great footage of a security guard being absolutely psychotic and stalking me across a parking lot, which by the time you see that, or see this, we'll have already posted. And there goes a Waymo, had a human driver, whoa, and a human passenger with his foot hanging out the window. I can't say I've ever seen a foot hanging out the window of a Waymo before. That was odd. All right, so I guess this is step 1 of the Circle K Sip and Save Challenge. Oh, what Circle K should I go get my free drink at first? I don't know, but I need to be heading back in the general direction of home. Oh, and I don't have much power on this iPhone. I probably shouldn't be connecting my power cable to it. I'll do that after I get the drink. All right, no Circle K here at the intersection of Broadway and McClintock. And wow, the big Dollar Tree that used to be there on the left is shut down. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Just their sign is gone. I can't tell if it's shut down or not. I can see Dollar Tree signs in the window. The big lit up sign used to be above it is gone. Versus maybe it's just crap left in the window. Some retailers do that. Like no. If there's no financial incentive from the landlord to clean up the trash, why bother, right? Oh, nice. It's a Trans Am on the right had historic plates. That was pretty tight. 7-Eleven there on the right, which has very minimal signage. It's kind of hard to see that it's there. Lots of good stories in my life surrounding that 7-Eleven. The most notable one is how I got my red CRX. Had some friends drop me off from the karaoke bar, and they didn't feel they had time to take me all the way home, but they were willing to drop me at that 7-Eleven, and I said I could walk home. There's a Quick Trip on the right, no Circle K. Said that I could walk home. I was like, well, I can walk home from there. I appreciate it, because we were partying up in Scottsdale, so that's fine. I can walk from Broadway and Dorsey over to Broadway and Almost Mill, and actually it ended up being much better than had they just drove me home, because I went to that 7-Eleven and ended up flirting with this really attractive older woman who had a banging body, who was a little drunk and flirty, and I was a little drunk and flirty, and I ended up going back to her place, which was like about a half block away, directly to the north, and spent a good portion of the next 48 hours in her bed, doing the thing that consenting adults that meet late at night at the 7-Eleven and decide that they both find each other attractive do in a bed. And then, long story short, she ended up moving away and signing over her red CRX to me. So that's how that car came into my life. And along with the bill of sale that said I paid her $10 for it, because I guess you have to have a bill of sale to determine the taxes and the registration. There needs to be a bill of sale showing what was paid for a vehicle, and that's fine. I mean, I didn't give her any cash, but if that's the value she wants to put on me laying pipe for 3 days, I'm actually cool with that. That's something I would generally happily do with any attractive middle-aged woman for $10. Just throwing that out there. Oh man, I picked a stretch of road that has a real shortage of Circle K's. You think I would know that, considering how long I lived over here. I'm like pretty much just shy of a decade. Yeah, there's no convenience store at the corner of Mill and Broadway. The closest thing to a convenience store is the Walgreens. So, building right there. What's it called now? Big sign says now leasing. 2 big signs say now leasing. It changed names again. It was called the Onyx after they changed it from Tempe Broadmill. But I saw the sign had a new name, but I couldn't quite focus on it enough to see what it was. There's Tempe High School on the right, Walgreens on the left. That's the newer Walgreens. When I moved to Tempe, the Walgreens was on the opposite side of Mill. Ah, there's a big Circle K coming up on the left. It's coming back to me now. Yeah, this would be the first time I've ever come here where I've actually been planning on doing what? On not hitting that last... Well, we got a situation here. Now, this situation right here is why I think these left-hand chicken lanes are not a good idea. That's fine. I just stopped and he was able to make a left turn from where he was at. Yeah, this Circle K didn't even exist when I first moved to this neighborhood. I forget what year it was put in, but it was towards the end of my Tempe residency. That's the first time I've ever done this intentionally, so I don't know if I can maintain a poke. It's one thing to do it when I don't realize I'm doing it. It's another thing to do it when I'm realizing I'm doing it. So hopefully I can hold my poker face. I roll in here carrying 3 phones. Oh, good times. Oh, and I'm mad at myself that I knew I was planning on doing this. I'm trying to go out there, and I didn't think to bring my 256 meg micro SD card, because I would love to be shooting film on, shooting video on Obamaphone 3 right now. That would just be awesome. And it's now 6:32 p.m. till Saturday afternoon, and I absolutely failed my own challenge. How many extra drinks can I get with Circle K Sip and Save today? Challenge, big fat freaking 0. That trick only works if a Circle K has a Circle K has one of the self-checkout kiosk things, and I just happen to pick one of the few Circle Ks that does not have one. So, whoops. Complete whoops. Ooh. Arby's, I don't know if y'all noticed it or if it's everywhere, maybe just Phoenix, but Arby's has got a deal right now where they've got 4 of the original roast beef sandwiches for $10, which, considering the astronomical rising price of food and fast food, is actually a pretty damn good deal. I mean, although, hold up, that's the same sandwich that not that long ago was the 5 for $5 roast beef, and now it's 4 for $10. Ouch. Gone from 5 for $5 to 4 for $10. That's well over 100% inflation. And food has gotten so expensive that suddenly seems like a good deal. Wow. Wow. Sorry, all those numbers just hit me in the face. And I was looking at it thinking, that's a good deal. And now I'm just hitting me in the face going, oh, no, that's awful. And I'm oddly craving it. But I still have enough stuff at home to make more of those bologna sandwiches that have become my sustenance. My main sustenance lately while at home. Which isn't as awful as it sounds. I mean, yeah, I'm getting the Bar S bologna, which is, I believe, the cheapest brand of bologna, but it's actually pretty, as far as bologna goes, it's pretty decent. I can't say I've noticed any bologna that's any better, but I've certainly had some that was worse. So, try to catch it when it's on sale and buy a bunch of packages, throw them in the freezer. Although I think today I just took my last extra package in the freezer and put it in the fridge. So, note to self: next trip to the grocery store, grab more bologna. My indulgence on the bologna sandwiches is I refuse to eat them with crappy American cheese or even cheap cheese. Now, granted, I'm not getting the most expensive cheese, but I am getting the Kroger store brand cheese, but I'm getting real sliced cheese. I generally get the white aged sharp cheddar, which is a whole lot more expensive than American cheese, but I firmly believe that life is too short to eat fake cheese. Unless you're eating that like spray cheese out of the can on crackers. That stuff's delicious. And ironically more expensive than real cheese. Go figure. So I'm going through the area known as the Curve, where ADOT's doing a big renovation and expansion project known as the Curve, which I've mentioned. There's an app for it to give you updates on it, but the app is cumbersome and awkward to navigate, borderline useless, so I've done since uninstalled it. This intersection is a big part of this, which is the intersection of Broadway and 52nd Street in Tempe. It used to be, well, anyway, I'm rolling, so I can't really detail it, but off to the right there where it says ramp closed, detour, and arrows to the left, used to be where you got onto the northbound 143, and then this appears to be a brand new bridge for Broadway Road continuing. My God, this is enormous. Wow, like how many lanes of Strode are we putting up here, ADOT? Holy shit. Yeah, nowhere in the app does it have like really good diagram showing what the finished product is going to be. What the finished, when it's all done, what it's going to be like. So I'm just kind of trying to put that together in my mind when I drive through it, as the vehicle behind me is getting angry because I'm driving through slowly. He's in a hurry to get to that red light in his SUV. He very aggressively just passed me to have to just come up to a red light and sit and not go. It amazes me how people feel the need to drive so fast to just sit longer at red lights. And actually, I misspoke where I said the lanes veering to the right where it was closed were to go northbound on the 143. That is not true. From Broadway, where was it? No, that was. Now I'm trying to remember how it was, and I'm getting confused. I think you could. I guess it doesn't matter because they're changing it. Well, it's so hard to. And of course, you're not catching this all in the video, but I'm looking off to the right, trying to figure out where all these new overpasses are going to go, and underpasses, and it all just looks so convoluted. Yeah, the way I had to go to 48th Street to turn right to go north on the 143. No, I definitely used to be able to. Pretty sure I used to be able to go north on the No, that's how you've always had to go north on the 143, to come to think of it. No, there's never been an option to take the exit before you cross 110 on Broadway that'll take you north on the 143 143. It's always bothered me that they hadn't put a ramp there, because with the layout of the old intersection, I could see where there would be room to easily add a lane and a ramp just over some open dirt. Of course, we've gone with this whole new grandiose kind of twisty project that's going in. I'm glad they're widening this piece of 143. That definitely needed done. But yeah, it used to always kind of bother me when I'd be coming from my place in Tempe and then wanting to go north on 143, that I had to go up and over Broadway like I just did to the intersection of 48th Street and sit at that red light and then turn right to go north of the freeway. It always seemed like that was a little more of a hassle than it needed to be. And in fact, I used to do that commute quite regularly, going from my apartment to Elise's apartment, when she was the resident manager, living with my storages in Van Buren, to go pick up Lily every day at noon. That's what our parenting time arrangement was before she was, when she was a toddler, a little kid, before she was in school. And I would, wow, the exit to the 202 East is closed. In fact, now I think about it, I think that whole chunk of the 202 is closed. It seems like I saw something about that posted somewhere today. So many freeways under construction. It's always a good idea to consult with Google Maps and see what freeways are closed before you try to drive anywhere that involves freeways on the weekends here in Phoenix right now. Anyway, yeah, that used to always kind of annoy me, and it got how I just went through that intersection now. That's how I always kind of had to do it, and I found myself because the parking lot, I wouldn't come out on Mill because there's no vehicular entrance from my old apartment complex on Mill. I'd come out on the next, or out on Broadway. I would come out on the next street to the south of Broadway, even though I had a Broadway address, which is called El Parque. And El Parque is a dead-end street, take you right out to Mill. And I found it was less annoying to take to when I was going to the 143 instead of coming across Broadway, even though it was a good solid, 2 maybe 3 miles out of my way. I found it took less time, it was less annoying to go south on Mill instead of going north that one block and then cutting across directly on Broadway. It was quicker to go south on Mill about 1.5 miles to the US 60 Superstition Freeway, and then go west on the Superstition Freeway, make the transition onto the 10, and then the transition from the 10 to the 143. Because I'd just be doing a little less than 1.5 miles straight south on Mill. No traffic on that to speak of. I could ride on red onto the 60, and then it's just free flow freeway all the way to the. I want to say the Van Buren exit, but there isn't a Van Buren exit. It was all the way to the Washington exit, and I cut up to Van Buren. Well, speaking of Van Buren, I probably should have went over there and dropped off some of the cans that I have in my vehicle. This package store closes their gates at 7, and it's 6:43 p.m. So yeah, I won't be making it to package store, or actually what's it called, U-store. I still want to call it package store because that's what it was called for years. Yeah, I struggle with things when they change names. That's all right. Wasn't planning on going there, and not going to be going there. But gosh, now in hindsight, it would have been really convenient to have gone there. I think I only got like 2 bags of recycling on me right now anyway. But c'est la vie. Anyway, I'm on my way home. I don't have any plans for today. I mean, I had solid plans for today. And I felt like I had run that by Priscilla, and I felt like we were in agreement on that. The plan for today was us kind of function as a couple, both looking out for each other's, needs and stuff. And that we would meet up at the bar, sing some karaoke together as a couple, which we did. That was fun. Didn't anticipate the bullshit argument that happened as soon as we got on the back patio. Which, and granted, what got that triggered was when she said, "Oh well, I can't. I'm not going to let you use my vehicle because I have things I do on Saturday." Oh, okay. So great. So how the fuck do you think I'm going to get to work? She's like, "Well, do you have to?" I'm like, "Well, kind of need the money. Hello. At which point I sat down and started looking at the Valley Metro Transit app to see just maybe if there was something that was feasible. And of course there wasn't. As I explained in several videos prior to this, the only bus that goes anywhere remotely near that is the 70. And it's not until later in the morning that the 70 extends that far west. And the first bus that drops off there doesn't drop off there until 8:08 a.m. So, yeah, I need to be there. I need to be to work at 4, which means I probably need to be at that intersection at like 3:30 a.m. So, yeah, not happening. Now, maybe if I could have got there by like 5 and got to work, 5:30 and got to work at 6, not optimal, but it would have been worth my while. But then we get in this whole argument about that, and I've rehashed that, so since rehashing it again. But oh God, did that just upset me? Just how, like, if she was a worthy girlfriend, a wife-worthy girlfriend, she would have been like, yeah, make that money. What can I do to help you with that? And she would have put 2 and 2 together and been like, oh yeah, I can, I've got errands and stuff that I normally do on Saturday, but I can easily, maybe I can do some of those by bus while you're going to a place that I can't get to by bus, that you can't get to by bus. Hey, there's a novel concept. That would have impressed me. But I'd have been equally happy had she just, well, there is literally a bump on the garbage. Did y'all see that on the right? And then bulk trash couch, there's literally a bump, like, laying on it. That's great. Hopefully the city will pick him up when they pick up the rest of the bulk trash. So, yeah, like, how hard would it have been for her to just support me on that? She said she was feeling kind of sick, so it would have been good for her to spend some extra time in bed while I was at work. And then when I got back at roughly 2:30 p.m., possibly earlier, then I could have gone to sleep and she could have done whatever errands she had to do. And then when she was done with her errands, we could have a fun-filled Saturday night together. No, she had to go full fucking self-centered stupid bitch on me. So I don't know what I'm doing with my Saturday night, but whatever I'm doing, she's not part of it. Disappointing sex is just not worth all the other bullshit that comes along with that woman.